Hey guys, it's Miasma from Gyre Media here, and if I have not made a video that has pissed people off in the past, I might do it now, because the other day I finished one of the coolest anime I have ever seen, and certainly the best American anime that I've ever seen, Avatar: The Last Airbender. And this video is not going to be about defending it as an anime, because in my opinion it falls under what I count as animation, and the colloquialism that Japanese people use for animation is anime. And yeah, I'm not going to argue that. It's an anime in my book. If you don't like it, you can stop watching. Nana nana boo boo. Stick your head in doo doo. This is my channel. Alright? So I'm sure you guys have heard of Avatar before. This is actually the first time I've watched the entire thing. I saw a couple episodes of Book 1, Season 1 back in the day, and I wasn't that into it, but a lot of my friends had told me that I was dead wrong in dropping it, and I was. Anybody watching this who told me that I would love it, I did. It is such a cool show. If you know nothing about it, I'll be very brief. It's in this world that people can bend the elements. People can manipulate fire, water, earth, and air. And there's one individual born to keep balance in this world, because there's a lot of war and a lot of strife that goes on, and that person is known as the Avatar, and he is the only person able to manipulate all of these elements. And he is consistently reincarnated over time. If one dies, another one will be born into one of the main nations, the air, fire, water, earth. And this story is about the Avatar named Aang, who is a young 12-year-old earthbender who has just woken up from being frozen for 100 years. And in the time, because he wasn't dead, there was no Avatar in the world. And without the Avatar around, the Fire Nation's tyranny reigned supreme over a lot of the land. And there's a war going on for about 100 years between the Fire Nation and the Earth Kingdom, who's joined up with the Water Tribe. And the Fire Nation is very, very powerful. They're very strong. And they're kind of like tyrants over a lot of the world in this show. And the world is not in balance without the Avatar. So now Aang's got to come back and he's got to help everything, right? Well, it's not that easy, because he only knows airbending at the beginning, and he has to master all of the elements before he can actually try and bring peace to the world. So the story basically chronicles his journey, starting in the Southern Water Tribe, meeting Katara and Sokka, who find him when he was frozen, and are the first people to really meet him after his 100-year nap. And Katara is a water bender, and her brother Sokka is a warrior a wannabe warrior, really, at first, from the Southern Water Tribe. And they are being pursued by people from the Fire Nation, and General Iroh and his nephew Prince Zuko, who have their own ambitions that I really want you guys to watch the show, so I'm not going to spoil too much. But the Fire Nation wants Aang so that way they could stop him from ending their tyranny, pretty much. And of course, the rest of the world, the Water Tribe and the Earth Kingdom, want the Avatar in the world. They want to end this war. And Aang, wants to master the elements and also be a kid. I think this show has a really cool balance of comedy, like juvenile comedy, because it is a Nickelodeon show, not targeted for the same demographic as most anime. But while it does that at the same time, even in the same episode, you can have very serious moments, really cool action scenes, like really intense fights. A lot of stuff that, teenagers and even young adults would enjoy. I don't think there's a lot of people that wouldn't get something out of the show, and I wish that I had seen it sooner. The animation is awesome. It's got mostly 2D. It's got some 3D in it at times that actually doesn't look terrible, especially with a lot of like the flying devices and like flying machines and like blimps and stuff that the Fire Nation uses. and just really solid animation all around. Awesome character designs. You got characters with like boomerangs. You got characters, manipulating water. You got characters who, Toph is this character who's a blind earthbender who basically is like, uses like echolocation to fight her opponents and really see the world. She sees through her feet. And she's got a really funny personality. Sokka from the Water Tribe he's got a sort of funny personality as well, but he can be kind of annoying. And Katara really cares about Aang and really cares about being a cohesive team. She's kind of bossy, but I liked her as a character too, and she's really strong-willed and strong in her water bending. Yeah, I really liked her as a character. I also really like the antagonists, or I guess the antagonists in air quotes, because you end up like rooting for Prince Zuko later on in the show, and I won't really say why, but he's a really deep, complex character who has a crazy backstory, and his Uncle Iroh is hilarious. This dude is like the epitome of the funny old man who's just very wise, and he talks in like parables, and it's just like. He'll say something like really serious, and then all he wants to do is drink tea or play his weird like chess game or something like that. But even when he jokes around, you get the feeling that he is so wise and he was so powerful back in the day that he's always a step ahead of negative things that can happen to him and his nephew, or he's at least always looking out for them. Each season, there's 3 seasons of the show that they divide into what they call books. One for each element that Aang has to learn: water, earth, and then fire. And they're all about 20 episodes long. I think the last one's 21. And the coolest part about it is the last episode of each season is this crazy cool climax, usually with some badass fights or some really cool character interaction. And they're usually like a little longer than the normal length episodes. But they really get you hyped to go right into the next season. This is a great binge show, minus the OP or the the opening sequence. It's not really like an opening song. It's Katara kind of narrating the Avatar's importance in the world. And I'm gonna be honest, when you're trying to binge watch this show, like I was on the Blu-rays, it plays this thing every time, and it gets really annoying hearing her just go, water, earth, fire, air, the Avatar, blah blah blah, and but I mean, you can skip it. It's kind of a nitpick. This show has such a solid conclusion. Like I said, with every season, the climaxes are great, and this show's ending satisfied me completely. And I know that there's Legend of Korra, which I don't know if I'm gonna watch at some point. It won't be for a while. I kind of want to at least take a breather. I don't know if I want to watch it, mostly because the end of Avatar is so cool, and so there's a couple like loose ends that they could delve into, but it's not anything I don't think they really need to bring up. There's solid romances in the show amongst many different characters, both on the good side and on the bad side, other nations. The side characters are even well developed in the show, and you learn a lot about them from beginning to end. And from beginning to end, nearly everyone in the show is different. If you take them in Season 1 and compare them in Season 3, most of them have changed in some way that's super interesting and makes them multi-layered as a character, and I love that. I love when characters aren't just a stereotype. And this show took a whole lot of time, more time than a lot of anime, to be honest, to actually delve into the characters and make them multi-dimensional. As for anything that I didn't like, it's going to be pretty much just like nitpicks. Like I said, the opening coming up over and over again was annoying. Season 3, Book of Fire, I did not think was as strong as Season 2, Book of Earth. Mainly just because the second season I think it's so good that it was kind of hard to build it up to, and the focus in Season 3 it's on Aang, but you get a lot of the other characters And I know I had just praised how good it was at developing the other characters, but I kind of wanted more Aang in Season 3 than you get. And there are some kind of just, like, forgettable episodes, I think. I mean, it's cool that, like, some of the characters do get development, but I feel like it could have been, like, part of an episode instead of, like, focusing... Like, I think there's too much, like, focus on, like, Sokka learning how to, like, sword fight, but he sword fights for, like, 3 seconds. So, like, it doesn't... I don't know. It bothered me a little bit. Also, like, logistically, this is not a knock on the show. I kept in my head thinking of, like, ways that the bending could be better, but I realized that there's way more firebenders than there are of the other ones. Like, the entire time I was like, why don't all the earthbenders just get together and pick up a giant stone and just drop it on top of the Fire Kingdom? Like, there's a bunch of earthbenders. I get it maybe with the waterbenders. I was thinking maybe they should make a giant wave, but there's not that many waterbenders left. There's a bunch of earthbenders left. Like, why couldn't they just try that? Or make a giant earthquake or something, I guess. But maybe I'm just making fanfic in my head, and I'm looking too deep, and anime should be fun, to quote a famous bearded senpai. But this show is fun. The negatives I have are nitpicks, admittedly. It is one of the best American animations that I have ever seen. And even if you don't count it as anime, I highly recommend that you check out Avatar: The Last Airbender. I don't think there's many people that won't get anything out of it. If you like action, if you like romance, if you like suspense, if you like... there's not really like mystery, but there's cool... In Season 2, you're kind of like investigating what's going on within the Earth Kingdom, and not all is as it seems, and I'll leave it at that. So if you're into kind of like thriller type stuff, it's got that in it. And if you love well-rounded characters, this is one of the best shows for that, and definitely one of the best shows that Nickelodeon has ever done. And I regret that I haven't seen it sooner. But what did you guys think of Avatar? Let me know down below. I'm sure people are going to yell at me because I don't want to watch Korra. Yeah, if you guys liked Avatar, let me know. If you didn't, let me know why. I try to avoid spoilers. And this is not going to be the only American anime that I'm going to review. For my next one, I'm going to need to put on my rooster teeth. And I'll leave you with that hint. So, as always, guys, thank you for watching. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and check out on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. my live chat with my good friends, The Art of Anime, and J-Chip from The J-Chip Show. 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Sundays, we do a live chat. You can come and ask us questions about anime or anything. We'll probably talk about it. As always, guys, this is Miasma from Gyre Media, signing out.